Welcome, everybody, to this Interintellect play reading. My name is Anna Gát. I'm the founder and CEO of Interintellect. I will be overseeing today's theater event on our platform. With us here is Jane Scharl, playwright, and her new play, Sonnez Les Matines, will be the text that we will be reading, aided by Interintellect members and hosts. We have done a couple of play readings on Interintellect, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Arcadia, Uncle Vanya, but we've never done one with the playwright herself present. So this is a really big deal for me. I'm so excited and so blessed and privileged to have Jane here joining us. I'm going to kick off and let's get started. So the play features three characters. One is Jean Calvin, or how you might know him, John Calvin, the founder of Calvinism and essential for the founding of Switzerland. Then we have Ignatius of Loyola, that those of you with some theology in your backgrounds might know a lot about. And we also have François Rabelais, the carnival clown, writer, poet, master of sin of France and of French literary history. And so these three characters will be colliding in various configurations during this play. Anna Maria will be reading Ignatius, Taylor will be reading Rabelais, and John will be reading John, or as he is called in the play, Jean, and that being Calvin. And with that, let's kick off Sonnez Les Matines, which obviously comes from Frère Jacques, the song that you might be familiar with, and we will play with this title throughout the play in various ways. Scene 1. Chapel of the Collège de Montaigu, Paris. Evening of Shrove Tuesday, sometime in the 1520s. Heard overhead, ringing the end of Vespers, bells. Vague figures scurry through the chapel square, shadows thrown upstage by paper figures drawn in front of footlights. Enter Jean, looking backwards over his shoulder. A moment after, Ignatius enters opposite, head down, considering the cobbles carefully. As these two come to center stage, enter Rabelais, running, liberally besmeared with dark crimson. At center stage, the three collide, back to back, and Rabelais and Jean fall. Ignatius helps Jean, who is scowling, to his feet, while Rabelais bounces up merrily.
Oh, what's this? Ah, an ugly pair, as far as I can see, past prayer of improvement. Frere Jacques, such downcast eyes at this o'clock upon the feast. Ding, 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 Ignatius, festal bells are ringing. Ding dong, Jean. Ah, I see. Sanctity shines upon each face. Come you straight from Shrove Day Mass?
You at least do not.
What's this? Do you mean to question if I could come from Mass, all vested head to toe in blood? That's what this is, and how I came to strut about all decked in it's a tale to match that doctrine which, I do perceive, you, my friend, might dare to disbelieve.
Don't disbelieve, but I confess sometimes I wonder just what is meant by the body and what signifies the blood.
The body means nothing other than itself. My friend, as I've said before, you complicate too much what is a simple mystery.
You make it seem so easy to believe.
Or rather, to disbelieve. For if I disbelieve, that belief makes me belie the fitness of my senses. Faith, not that I question it, oh no, but once I doubt not this, I must doubt all, and all else go without.
Then go without.
Then go without, and if by grace you manage to lose all but this, you'll be the richer for it.
Charming. A neat use of hyperbaton. Or was that transgressio? If anyone, of course, would know the difference, it's you. Keep going. Perhaps someday the headmaster will move you to the front of the class.
Well, at least I know the difference between clothes that are fresh and those that reek with filth.
You mean my stained clothes? What of it? A stained hood is one slip from a sainthood. Oh, come now. That was a little good. If a man's farce can't be his dignity, what hope has he? My farce is not too far from truth, too. It's plainly low and draws by plainness nearer to the truth than yours. Which postures so? But why such boring discourse on a feast day? When speech is least among the possible diversions, time during the fast for all this speech and rhyme.
Says you, from whose tongue spills more speech than excrement runs from the sewers.
Excess is dullness. My own excess is so excessive that it drives me to nullness.
And that is the proper end to all who care not for the body, mind, or soul.
Care not for the body. Jean, don't flatter me. Imagine bringing a charge against the good Rabelais of lack of love for all the bodies God has made.
Say this. If you tended to your soul with half the fervor you now lavish on others' bodies, you truly could aspire to be the finest saint in all Paris.
I preach nothing that is not found within the creed.
And what teach you from there?
The resurrection of the body.
Blaspheme somewhere else, you brute. I've not time or patience for you.
What? Does Jean Calvin deny the creed? The paramount importance of the body? Gnostic, apostate? Your very thoughts stink of heresy.
And yours smell of beans and sausage, which is worse by far.
Ah, the tame wolf can still bite. Worse than Jean's heresy? A rank insult to his heresy. Heresy's worthless unless it's done full force. A heresy by halves is merely coarse. What are you looking for so carefully among that fragrant muck? It's quite a rare and potent blend. I can guarantee I've contributed my bit to it. But even connoisseurs of swill like me, and don't often go down on their knees to inspect it.
Have you lost something, Ignatius?
I have a thing precious to me, a treasure, handed down, trusted to me alone, and now mislaid by me alone.
What is it? We'll help you look. The what of worth we hope to find in this filth, I cannot think.
Correction. Jean will help. I have already too much knowledge of these gutters. I say, that sludge, I wouldn't step in it too deep.
Shut up, François. What have you lost?
A knife.
The very one you showed to us?
Showed
Yes.
to me, you weren't interested.
Yes, that one I showed to you. And by that willful pride, I've lost it. Now for good, I fear. I showed it here in this very square. But in putting it away, my hand must have slipped. This is what comes out of boasting. All the careful skill of patient craftsmen, honed flawless over years to reach their zenith of elegance and use. And then a flash of pride, and all is lost.
It'll turn up, don't you fear. Birthrights, legacies, inheritances, fights, hatreds, grudges, spats, customary disdain, all the proud paternity of Spain. It will take more than a jest and inattention to lose that bequest.
Would you insult my heritage, you who have none to speak of? Let me test my fist upon your face. We'll soon find out how much your base-born blood is worth.
The honor that deflates with such a gentle prick belongs, I dare say, to a most ungentle prick.
Cease! This is no way to usher in the fast. And in the very churchyard, for shame!
True. I beg your pardon, Jean. From you, François, I'll beg nothing. But in Lenten charity, I'll grant you pardon for the insult to my family and pride.
The honor is all mine.
François, desist. Must you kindle this quarrel while on your clothes the red of some other fight still burns?
Ah, don't assume this crimson is my blood, for you'd be wrong. No, listen here. The tale's good and plenty rough, though I've not yet been in a fight. There are mysteries afoot this carnal night, and since the Lenten fast is not yet quite upon us, though her smothering breasts dangle above, and since the tale I have to tell is better with profane ale than sacramental wine, blood, as Jean here would protest too much.
I would not protest some poison if it could, but for a moment stop your tongue.
Ignacio?
The daggers? Not here, I'm sure. I look about me as we go, and by some mercy chance upon it.
Well, step lively then. Let's ride our fortune now, as far and hard as she'll take us, or as far at least as yonder alehouse. Come.
They cross towards stage right, Ignatius looking carefully from side to side. The scene changes from the quiet churchyard to a darkened street. Occasionally firelight and voices, laughing and shouting, burst in from stage right. Rabelais stops, and Ignatius, not paying attention, runs into him.
Interruptus is, of course, forbid, but not procrastinatus. Let's pause amid this rut of ours and have a good hard think.
You're sure you are not drunk already?
I am not. Sure, I mean.
Very good. Oh, I am. We all know how Francois holds his beer. From our straight progress, I conclude you're as sober as, if not a judge, at least a lawyer. Why this hesitation? Let's go.
That crowd down there gives me pause.
It's only Mardi Gras festivities. We've all seen worse before than these poor folk taking their feast before the long, long fast. With each glimpse of a mirror, I will guess.
Why must everything be so dramatic with you? Is it some aristocratic impulse to stage choreographed battles and make these grave assertions? We poor chattel have no time for these self-immolations. This way, let's quench your... sorry, I'm very tired. Onanistic ire with ale and sudden jesting by the fire.
Rather, let's go this way, down to where there are fires and revelries to join.
Yes, to join, but not like this. Shame to join a merry band that's traveled far into its cups without having taken a single step along the road myself. Why, I'm behind even you two, who have drunk deeply of the heady wine of sanctity. I know a place down the street and left where we can feast in peace and lap those sotted dogs down there in their own race before we run against them.
Should we go up this gloomy alley when doubtless there are countless inns down there, where the only shadows are those flicking from the rowdy fire in the grate, and the busy tongues of flame are outstripped only by the tongues of merry maids?
Oh, what's this? Does our Jean sing of maids? That's more my tune. But please, before more talk, I'm parched. My eyes mist, my sight, it fades. Get me to beer while I can still walk.
You still set upon that squalid hole.
The finest spirit is often found within the dustiest bottle bound.
Look, just there, a better spot, bright and warm, where we can drink and lift the burden from our feet, without waiting for some cutpurse to lift the burden off our wallets.
Hush, hush, Jean. Well, here's the very scene. And now, the revelation. I've not been quite frank with you. You're here on false pretenses and for a dramatic purpose. Now commences my story. It's here that I obtained my coat of many colors. Here's the tale. I was coming down this way, full of joy and light as day, and at that bend, just where the street's all mud, I slipped and went down hard, and there, voila, I found a miracle of Mardi Gras. The very rocks down there are dripping blood.
You're telling me you slipped and fell and cut your hands and dragged us here to tell us of your clumsiness? I have no patience left for this.
Wait, there's something in his tone. Francois, face me. What's this, my friend? Beneath the mud, a pale face. Behind the jest, your hands are shaking. What has frightened you this way?
He's not afraid he's drunk. Let's go.
I'm drunk with neither wine nor fear. Now, I regret I brought you here if you insist on making of this farce something more than a slip and a sore ass.
Say, something is wrong.
Ignatius, let's go. No one needs your heroic prancing here.
Look there, the whole street's slick with it, and oh, that awful smell.
This whole alley's foul.
But not with rain with refuse. See that mess?
A heap of garbage.
Pile of filth from feasting.
Neither of those.
A mound of scraps.
A load of refuse. Isn't this fun?
No, it is none of those. I've seen that shape before. Cold and huddled up and small upon the battlefield. It is none other than a human body.
Body. Here. And we?
And we here too, and brought here.
By a fool. You're right, I stumbled, saw it, and took fright.
Why did you bring us here?
When I met you two, I had the thought to bring you here, to drive my overwrought frightenings away, but now...
Now we three are here. This corpse all slick with gore is here. And with us, one...
Whose hands do drip with blood.
Suspense. Scene 2. Ignatius steps towards the body, but Jean catches his arm and holds him back.
Don't touch it. Leave it be.
I've seen 100 men, no, more in their death spams. I fear.
Death belongs to God, not to his servants. Do not touch that body. What is written there is not for you or me to read.
We have a doctor here, Francois. Won't you at least look for last sparks of life in this dark place?
No, thank you. It's clear that body's dead. And in these plague-shot days, I keep my head and hands quite well away from street-found corpses.
Someone's hands, it's clear, aren't clean. What is writ here is not of God. Quite plainly, this is no natural death.
I sensed that it was so when first I came upon it. The street all darkly slicked, but not from rain. The stench rising from the cold ground like steam upon a frozen midden. The angle of the corpse repose, hands clenched around a scrap of cloth.
I do not see those things from here.
No? Oh well, it must have been lighter then. No matter.
It said you did not know a body laid here until now.
Did I? It's hard to say just what one knows when one's in such a state of grim suppose.
Did you see it?
Did I see what?
The body. Did you see the body when you first passed this way?
Did I see the body? That body? Well, it's hard to say. I do not know. It was dark.
You said it was lighter then.
I know beyond a doubt I tripped on something. See, my hands, those stains on from nothing. Might that body have been it?
You said before you slipped, not stumble. Those are not the same.
Stumble of the tongue, I'm sure.
Your tale changes with the telling.
What is it, Francois? Slip or stumble? Sight or no sight? Corpse or none?
Which is it, François?
What is this? Can it be that you suspect me of this?
We're only asking questions, Francois.
Why? Say would I, if guilty of this thing, bring you here to where the body lies, and so embroil myself within this crime, when I could so easily have swept myself elsewhere and none the wiser? Why?
Why do you do anything you do?
I hope that's one of your obnoxious, endless philosophical considerations on the nature of the will.
It is.
The nature of the will's irrelevant. What have we here to deal with what we have here to deal with's the deed.
Only one letter removed from the dead.
This is no joke, Francois. If Ignatius had done what you have done, I think as you would I think as you would have us think. But you, if you have found yourself mixed up in something beyond you, you just do what you've done. Drag others into it, implicate us and all of us in your disaster.
Come, what is this? Why, I look from face to face and I'm shaken. Can it be that you two would ascribe such deep and dreadful schemes to me as never I in my grandiose imaginings could invent? Do you, in soberness, believe that I, here in a fit of rage or pique,
Or liquor.
Or touched honor,
High spirit.
high ideals?
stop? My tale tells itself, I see. So, at first glimpse of an unknown corpse, you two, my friends, dare presume that I, from some dark motive, utterly obscure and unsupposed, did murder in his tracks, a breathing son of the Most High, and further, you presume that I then left the body in its blood, like a heap of laundry dropped in mud, and finding myself swilled from head to toe, I went out from this profane place, indeed, straight to the church, where, coming upon you two, I did implore, nay, beseech, nay, compel you both to come with me, against the will of Monsieur Corvin, Magister, mind you, to the very place of my foul deed. Do you find this conceivable?
I.
Madness! You ascribe to me more maddening madness than I venture to ascribe to myself. What shall I do to prove my truth? See here, to show me worthy of the madness you would foist upon me, yet innocent, behold, I, bedecked in blood, will go and march into that much discussed tavern to report our find. For that's what any innocent would do. By bearing my red marks of guilt, my innocence I'll earn.
Francois, stop!
Did you see how flagrant, how uncouth the blood blazed out upon his shirt? What will they think in there? Even suppose they don't assume him guilty, surely all will think him mad.
There's madness enough in the streets tonight. If he keeps his head, goes straight to the proprietor, and speaks his news forthrightly and with calm, perhaps his courage will acquit him.
Should it?
Do you think he's guilty of this death?
How should I know? We find him bloodied, his words even wilder than his wont. He seizes us, won't let us go. He shouts of heresy and guilt. He drags us to this spot where he tells us many different tales, none quite easy with the others. Then he takes hold our misgiving, and turning it to accusation, gives it the words we hadn't said, then plunges off to clear himself of a charge that no one brought but himself. You call this innocence?
It's clear there's more at work here than we know. But to conclude that he who flees before the face of mystery is guilty shows scant clarity.
What are you doing?
Going after him.
With what intent? To hold him for justice?
If I must. Anyway, to stand beside him as I hope a friend would stand by me in trouble.
You'll be caught up in his guilt, I think.
I am already, in my own right, plenty guilty of much worse than I suspect our friend Rabelais bedecked with. Besides this, thinks of an adventure, such as I've not had in years. And like a bloodhound, once I've got the stench of exploit in my nose, I cannot turn aside from trailing, no matter through what foul ground I have to go. Come with me, Jean. If we forsake the trail now, imagine how we'll always wonder where it led.
I do not wonder, I know. All these trails lead out from the hearts and minds of men, lead only to one place, death, eternal, which haunts us from within our very souls. Leave him to his guilt and look to yours. Why should I look for death and danger there when within I carry all I need to set the seal on my own damnation?
To set within your soul the bonds of hell. That is itself a caustic sort of pride.
Don't try to twist my words to match your tune. If God should choose to save this soul, so be it. But I shall not amass more sins than I must.
Come now, don't be petty, Jean. For something good, let's go and fight.
Don't you try to persuade me. I know you. I know your sophistic ways. Battles enter deep into your soul, and though you've left behind the fields of Spain, you will never leave the fight. That is the very secret of the soul. It can never change. How it deceives, and none more than itself. But what we love is what we have always loved, and what we are is what we love. And you warrior of Loyola, rank and soldier, jaunty and proud, yes, I see how you've tried to change. To cast down your own words, to bank the battle fire in your heart. Well, I've seen the fire in your eye when talk at tables turns to quarrel. When lines are drawn, sides are picked. Though you bite your tongue to blood, still you're most alive.
Should I be ashamed to seek to change my nature?
Rather, you ought to despair.
That is not the church is saying. There is always hope for grace.
Grace, yes, but grace to change? Grace to turn this ruin of a man, a bodied thing, to good? St. Paul bids us wear our skins like garments to be cast off at the end of day. And when I fling mine off, I hope I'll find within not one thing that I recognize.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps we put too much stock in the change. Our God, in whose image we are made, does not change. And to see we are free in some way, he is not. It would be a heresy. But think on this. Once he took on flesh. He who had none, and once he took that flesh away with him into the very Godhead, which before that instant had within itself nothing like that flesh.
Do you say God changed?
I don't say that, but it does not seem he stayed the same.
That redemption, coming by the incarnation, was forever, wrought ages before time and space began their dreadful turns.
Unchanging, change accosts us, never changing.
There it is, that famous Spanish sophistry. It's clever, but such craft does not impress me. So the ancients reasoned, and where are they? Borne away by time and change into the night.
This talk avails us nothing. These are mysteries, and I, for one, will let my Mother Church bear that burden for me. Right now, there's action to be born. I have no use for those who dawdle, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of life. Come or go, and with your chase abide, but send a night watch if you can. As for me, I will go.
Alone again. My body flaps around me like a loose jerkin. My mind turns and turns upon itself. Rest, impossible. Rise, unthinkable. My soul is weary beyond thought, beyond decision, beyond action. How can he speak of free choice? How bid me to abide? There is no choice. There's only a restless flinching from pain to pain. The spirit cannot settle, but collapses for a time, panting till the pain becomes again less bearable than the struggle. These two, these rebel angels, these blessed devils that inflame my soul. One makes actions seem so simple, the other guilt so trivial. How magnificent they joust with error. They grasp the tempter's blade with their bare hands and draw it laughing towards them. Do they not know the edge is poison? Perhaps that is the truth behind all choice. We are already damned, all saved only by the dread whimsies of God. Perhaps our error avails nothing. If I go, I cannot return to this place. But if I stay, that place will itself be swept away to where I cannot follow. All, grasped or ungrasped, is forever borne away. So what avails my choice? What avails?
Jean stands silent, as if waiting for a long time. There is no answer. At last, slowly and reluctantly, he turns up his collar, pulls his hat over his eyes, goes into the tavern, and shuts the door. Scene 3. Within the tavern, Rabelais is sitting at a table, hunched over a tankard of beer. An empty tankard is in front of him, and 2 more drinks sit before the 2 other seats. Ignatius, who has evidently just finished speaking, stands beside the table. When Rabelais sees Jean enter, he straightens and shouts.
Ho, ho, our third has come. Our little band's complete. I beg you, Jean, please reprimand me once again. Without the toothsome pangs of your sore conscience, my guilt's lost its tang.
Hush. If your conscience does not clamor on its own, there's nothing I can do.
Admit, this buoyancy is not what I thought to find in you, Francois.
Ah, yes, you thought to find me pale and shook by dread of my damned frailty.
About 300 steps from here, there is a body dead, and no account of it save you were also there. What came of your much trumpeted confession?
Well, things change. Oh, how they change. Circumstances circle round me like skirts of women dancing, and how can I refuse a turn or two?
Said nothing yet of what's outside.
Hush, friend, have some pity on a man's faint-heartedness. And don't fear, we'll not leave him till necessary words are said. That I swear on my good name.
Yes, hush, all in good time, for all time is good time, delicate and small and precious as a lady's. Well, I'll let your swift fancy see what it can get. Perhaps another grim discourse will shock me into penitence. Wait, I took the liberty of ordering for you. John and ale, nondescript but true. For a bold Spaniard, a Spanish wine, at least it is a wine, and after it has greased a Spaniard's lips, it will be Spanish wine. Come, sit, drink, and then we'll dine. To what shall we drink? To women, wine, and song. Will not go down easy in this throng. I think, and to the church is no more the simple joy it was. To merest orthodoxy, perseverance of the saints, the hope that grace may one day deign to paint our souls like theirs. Or shall we simply toast that gratuity of God, that most lurid, bloody, gross, exquisite, bawdy thing, the resurrection of the body?
A strange toast, but one that I will make with all my soul.
Ah, but this toast does not demand your soul, nor your mind, however fine that is, senor, nor even your will. It necessitates your body, the slow or not so slow flex of muscle in your shoulder, the bending of that splendid joint we call the elbow, the busy lips to tighten on the rim, the tongue to cup, the throat to pull, say nothing of the million other members laboring as one, the heart beating, lungs heaving, buttocks flexing, cock strutting, gut burbling, nostrils sucking, trunk holding, eyes beaming, is hoarding, skin containing, defining, defending, maintaining, holding the frontier of this strange country. All this while your tongue takes joy of taste, your eyes of sight, your ears of song, all this. Can you do it? Can you raise this toast, Ignatius? Can you raise it, Jean Couvin?
You may flaunt your name about this place, but I'd rather mine be silent.
Too late. I noted your name specially with the keep when I got your drinks.
Why? You fool, why do you insist on embroiling us in your disgrace?
It was ill done, Francois. Recall, we're here upon a grave matter. For us, Mardi Gras has not begun.
No matter my guilt, I will not miss my feast.
You're no fool, but a devil.
And you? Tell us, what exactly are you?
A fool whose greatest crime was following his devil.
How about your crime of being born? The crime no man save one can be forgiven. How of that black mark running through the soul, like a treacle through sweet Easter bread? Dung runs even from the ass of decent men, and if you stop the flow, what's left? Death.
Leave him alone. It's not his crime that we must speak of.
Isn't it? Shall I tell him, Jean, or will you?
Tell me what?
Oh, I'd rather hear the story from your lips, Jean. I fear I do it no justice, and justice is what's needed here among just us.
What's he babbling about, Jean?
Behind his swarm of words, there's something hid. Though how he found it out to hide it is so, I don't know.
I'm like God that way, or a magician. I don't reveal my secrets.
Must you blaspheme? Nothing's bad enough without that.
How is that blasphemy? We do partake in certain attributes of God, and to make a mystery where before there was one is one of them. Before there was none is one of them. I do not speak in fun, I mean it. And I say nothing he's not said himself, or hinted, or said not.
To speak of God as a cheap magician doing pranks to beguile and deceive us is neither safe nor wise. God's no trickster. On that I have staked my soul.
Tell scientists or philosophers this news. In fact, tell the church.
God, in his kindness, lets us deceive ourselves. He won't trick us, but if our hearts beg for it, he won't stop us being tricked. But if you won't reveal the method of your magic, at least tell us your tale straight.
Wait. For if it is mere idle gossip, I beg you for your own sake to refrain, since to repeat such a rumor is sin.
Thanks for your consideration, Jean, and be at peace. Be still and listen on to what I have to say, for what I spend here is my own coin, and I will lend it to you gratis. Indeed, all I have to share is this, and when with you, I halve it. You'll see how little it really is. Listen, I entered this fine inn, my admission hot upon my lips, and thought to cool it with a little wine. And as a rule, I only drink alone when I'm alone. And knowing you, my brothers in the bone could not be far behind, I told the keep to be on the lookout. And I heaped up your descriptions to the very roof, so the good man would not be mistook and give your drinks, those very drinks, to someone else. But when I sketched out with my tongue the virtues and appearance of my good friend Jean, the keep scrubbed the grubby wood of the bar and said, "Now, isn't that the man just been here an hour? Sat right there, and what did he do but demand as many pours of wine as I would stand?" Of course, I pressed him, not wishing to believe ill of my friend. What did I receive but a description that nearly convinced me? So I, hot on this trail, set my own griefs aside and schemed with him. He said he'd make a sign if the man at some point sneaked back to this place. So hard did I hammer the sign into his stony head, I warrant he'll make it a year hence. So, having built my plan upon that solid rock, I waited. Loyola burst upon us like a flame. No sign. But when our good man Jean, same, peeped in, muffled like a courtesan, behold, the mountain moves, falls the sign like lightning. And when it fell, my haste to clear my own name until our Jean's career be told. And now I'd like to hear about this, Jean, since it's your ass that's dangling out.
You've heard your accuser. What's your plea?
We now give account of every drink in every unknown bar in all Paris.
But that's just it. Our good barkeep, the slow as stone, keeps a handy book and swears he's never bestowed credit on an unknown face. So help him. This paragon of care showed me a careful tally on the wall, marked in chalk, and says it's your account. A lengthy record. Hold reminder that all we do is note it down somewhere. The tab for today is a hefty 5 or 6 cups put down fast. To my mind, no man drinks like that for peace and quiet. He either riots in a festive spirit or he's plunged in cares, but he's not easy in his soul.
What of it, Jane? Answer me straight. Do you know this place? If so, why feign ignorance of it?
Of course I know it. It is my haunt, the sickbed of my soul, which I thought to keep an utter secret. Of course it was you two who found it and came crashing in, throwing up the shades and tramping it with your muddy boots upon this, my spirit's bedsore, who blunder in and peer and paw over the filthy tender trinkets I keep tucked up. Can't a man keep his secrets at least until the day of judgment? Yes, this is my little hell, my private nook in the abyss. Come, let me show you the place. I'd say make yourselves at home, but you've already done so. And rightly, for that is the only way this place could be worse for me than before.
In such a hell, I'm flattered to receive such hail.
Well, welcome, I suppose. We're all bound up together now, or always have been, bound up and wound together in fate's mesh, which is always winding in. No single thread traveling out, but rather all things drawn in, caught and pulled tight and held within the ball of fate.
Imagine the balls of fate. And to think, I always thought fate was a woman. This changes things. I see him now, sagging fetus, scratching at his woolly balls.
Fate is the woman, and her name's not Faith, but Wisdom. And she neither weaves nor wins, but delicately embroiders on the sheet another spreads before her.
Or over her. I hear she's beautiful.
Mm.
You couldn't see Wisdom's beauty if she stood before you in the flesh, you blackguard.
I know. That simple truth I know, and that may be all the difference between you and I. That this I know.
And such knowledge is nothing to boast of. Jean, you knew about this place and hid it. An odd lie. A shameful one, but one I can take pity on. Strong mind and weakling soul are ever uneasy partners, and such a yoking seems to be your burden.
Don't let him escape so easily. He'll snatch the chance and try to flee, poor wee man. But yoked this way, he'll not outrun his demons. See him sweating there? There's more there, yes. And Mercy says we wring it out, despite his distress. Come, Jean, undress your soul. Fling the rags of duress off, lest in your guilty stew you mildew. Jean. Are you frozen? Are you there?
Oh, I think it's frozen.
Jean, no! Jean, come on!
Jean!
Jean,
Oh
come back! Yeah, he's speechless, says the playwright. And this is the point where it turns into like a super meta Charlie Kaufman movie, where it turns out that Jane is writing this play live and
As
she
we go.
change the character, and so the character disappears. Oh my God, it's freaky.
Oh,
I'm reading this play.
You guys are doing really well. I love hearing this.
I mean, they are so good. And I love the different accents because these people are also from different places, right?
Yes, I love it.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to do Jean until John is back. Because I'm the other person with the text. He's right. I haven't yet told all.
You'd be a tasty morsel for an inquisition. Hear my proposition. You're guilty, Saul, and more so than you think possible, but no inquisitor can keep up with this poor soul's confessables.
Hush, don't invoke them.
You mean don't provoke them?
come, confess. I'll inquisite you, and gently as the soul requires, though with what seal I can close this case, I cannot say till after.
It is not men's I crave, but still, if any trace remains in man of God, may not man's forgiveness too show his, however scant? I've confessed, oh, often, alone and to a priest, and by the altar, and not once has my burden lighted anywhere but square on me. How could it harm to offer what I've done to you, my soul's own devils in the flesh?
Been called worse. Tell on, pay up, good Jean. I swear your words will stand in this court as legal tender.
Tell on, but only if your conscience beats, else save it for the confessional.
It's little. Here I sat, not quite fully sodden in my spirit, the dread mysteries a crushing weight. And here I heard, even from there, that very seat, I heard a cry, not loud, but loud enough, that should have pricked me to the quick, but could scarce penetrate. Yet in spite of all, I heard, clear as bells, of consecration on my ears, a cry cut off. One shout for help, then nothing. Before my wits could cut their way through thought, 'twas gone. But when that broken body I beheld, my spirit reeled, for once again I heard that cry for help, and once again I turned away. What guilt is mine that I, by one movement, might have saved? Page 56, and I just read Jean, you.
So sorry about that. Wait,
Okay.
sorry, where are we?
Page
Page 56.
Page 56.
So Jean falls silent and covers his face, but he does not weep. After a pause, Rabelais speaks. You got it?
Yeah.
Well, this is a turn that even I did not suspicion to suspect.
Pure Jean, pure accusatory Jean. It's clear we're deeper sunk in this than any of us three imagined.
For if the mighty Jean hath fallen, no amount of care will clear the rest of us.
We pick the scab, and fouler grows the wound. Each step just sinks us deeper in the mire. Therefore, I dread to say what I will say, for what foul depths we have not reached. I don't aspire to say, but this I say. By some chance, we three have fallen deeply in this death. And I could not walk easily beside myself on the morrow did I not hazard now one more look, one final inquisition of his body. Clues for injustice, maybe, or even just to find a name for which to offer up our prayers. Who's with me? Who will come and face this death with me?
I will do nothing to escape my guilt, which is as real as if I wielded the fateful blade myself. By my gaze, even one atom of this world may be less damned. I'd look all my day full in the mouth of hell.
Of course, I'll go. Would I miss this next act of our strange drama, where I expect we'll find the dead shall rise or shall not rise, The moon is blood or merely a virgin, and we'll know once for all, or not at all, what mean these bodies we are born with. Would I miss this? Not for all France or an eternity of bliss.
Let me read up the transition because it's important. The three exit the tavern. It is dark, but offstage the sounds and fires of carnival continue. Ignatius holds the candle, which seems very small and pale. Rabelais shivers and pulls his cloak around himself, looking around.
I spoke boldly then and rather well, but I see now it was the wine that spoke, not me. Someone else, please take the lead. The streets themselves are hell tonight. The emptiness cluttered with the spectre of what lies before us all. The streets walk with death. Someone, please, lead.
Francois, I'm shocked. If I had to guess your pet heresy, superstition were not it.
You had me pegged as a doubter, didn't you? But even the most faithful can't deny this debt to doubting Thomas, because he did. How many of us need not spar our bout with doubt? But no, I am devout in my own way. Don't begrudge me my Frankish fantasies. Up here, where winter deaths do not decay, but merely freeze and thaw until the flesh binds the bones like cords to the cold earth, up here we know how hideous it will be on the last day. And even if it lasts but half a moment, that haunted harvest where all flesh congeals around bones long crushed to dust, the resurrection of the body is awful, yes, and dread. I hope I will be raised last and will miss all your rank regenerations.
We're here.
I see it. That fake dark patch low, just at the curve of the street. It's still there. I half expected it would be gone. Come, look.
How did I miss this?
Cry. I almost thought.
Behold, it is no man.
Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, and yours too, you filthy celibates. It is our mother, our companion, our boon. It is a woman.
Scene 4. All three are silent, looking.
And Ham looked on the body of his mother, naked.
A woman? How's this? This, the step past tragedy I did not foresee. The deeper depth, the darker dark. Always there is worse than we have imagined of.
Woman. I wondered when I heard the cry from the befuzzlement of my dregs. Its pitch and its pierce and all my wonder now resolves as dread.
A woman.
Say no more. No more obscenity is needed here.
Oh, hush. I warrant I know more of women than you boobies, and with pure intent. Recall, I am a doctor trained. All my fleshly fascination is forensic at its core. My loves are scientific as well as succulent. There is an expert eye in this head yet, and that sees much.
This maid deserves in death the charity denied to her in life, even from you.
In my own way, I give this girl charity, for I look upon her in the flesh with care. I don't toss her cheerily underground like you, who would mesh in winding sheets of prim convention her body before it's long been cold, and wave away her own sweet carnal self, dismiss its ripes and rots together to the grave in haste and hurry to forget. Sure, she'll rot, so will I. In charity, I will see her head to toe and bear the memory of her earthbound self with me, till at last one day I follow her.
Let the maiden lie now with the decency you'd give your own mother. Though I think this here is neither maid nor mother.
Maid, she certainly is not, but mother, yes.
You know her then, Francois?
as he knows many such.
I know her, yes, but not as you two would have me. Must you forever be so copulatory-minded? There are more reasons for a woman's body than that one. See these pendulous small breasts? They've suckled a tiny mouth or two. And these pale tracks along the midriff? Well, for these, this lady cried out for a midwife. Therefore, mother, at least once, and in my professional opinion, more.
It's vile. Talk of a woman's body and her death. I beg you, cover this thing for its sake and your and ours.
Shortly, yes, but not yet. There's a tale here to be read by eyes that dare not fail.
You read a tale?
A simple enough one, yes. Stabbed once and well, and through the heart from in front. No fibers in the wound, so she was wrapped at most in a cloak or coat. Beneath that, nothing. Know either of you this place here? I do, but by name only. A bawdy place of ill repute and ill management, where everyone fends for themselves, employing tooth and claw if needed. I can guess what happened here. This girl was cheated of what was rightly hers, if anything so ill-gotten can be rightly earned. And seizing her cloak, she pursued the rascal to the street and remonstrated, whereat he finished with his metal blade the job he had started with his carnal one.
The wretchedness of it. To abuse and then to rob, and then, when called to task, to kill.
Wait, Francois. Raise your light again. What is that?
Ah, here is a brightness that is neither stone nor starlight. Yes, Jean, your eye is good. Don't touch it. Leave it, and let us see how it lies. As I perceive it, it's a blade, decked in blood, as bloody as its rubied hilt. Pretty toy to dig up in an alley after dark. And yet I think, as I do mark it carefully, that I know this blade.
I too bear its shadow in my memory.
My God, it cannot be.
What is it?
My God, my father and my homeland. This blade is ours.
Ours?
It is the blade of Loyola, the very one I lost just yesterday. And to find it, the seal on my patrimony here, in such a way and place.
Ah, yes, that's how I know it. The proud blade of Loyola, put to such a lowly task of assassination. I'm surprised.
And I am grieved. Move aside, Francois. I will no more leave that braid lying there in the mud that I would leave my mother or my sister.
And yet that blade there felled a mother and a sister not all that long ago.
We can pause, but the question must be asked. What know you of this crime?
More to the point, what know you of this woman? Who knows all too well your point?
I have no words to speak. I am all lost.
We'll wait.
Are you always so cruel or only to us?
Always to all of high and pompous heart, and to you as well.
This is a blow. I am shaken. I who saw my bone thrusting from my thigh there at Navarre and was unmoved. Now, by a gleam of blood upon a little blade, I am undone.
The astonishment seems real and greatly to his credit. Come, tell us truly what you know. I'll not be mystified by it.
That is just it. I am all mystification. I know nothing of this. Nothing.
Come on, man, think. When did you last see your little toy? Are we to lead you like a little boy?
As I said before, I saw it last when I showed it to you.
So, yesterday in the square, you say you put it away as usual.
I thought. And yet today its absence has weighed heavily. And I confess during the mass consumed my thoughts. This is no mere blade for use at table or in quarrels. This is priceless Toledo steel, an emblem of a height of skill that only comes through God's own gift. It reveals God's gleaming nature, poured quick as light into the earth and left for us to find. It flinches not before any blade, but springs up from beneath a blow like snowdrops through the ice of winter. This blade was wrought for Loyola's of old, and for all its long days has remained fair until this day, when the filthy hand of man turned what was all good to dishonor. Do we leave no device of God unstained?
All very interesting, but I'm curious that it took the sullying of your knife to bring this to your attention. Most of us suspected it long before, and even I, certainly slower than most, began to wonder when we came across that body. It seems to me a graver matter that now some girl's bound to her grave than that your knife got blood on it. But what do I know? I'm neither Spanish nor noble. The affairs of paltry people weigh heavily on me, and I can't cast them off at end of day like an extra cloak.
You accuse me of callousness when all my heart's in pieces over this. I mourn my knife because it is lovely and pure. It is wronged. The very reason I mourn this murdered woman. All things beautiful are also frail. The least brush with ugliness spoils them forever. The good can withstand grim battle with evil. Truth can wrestle chest to chest with lies. Yet beauty must have champions. She cannot wage her war alone. For her to enter the struggle is to lose.
Now, there I don't agree. Rather, you've got it all backwards. She's a scrappy one, Beauty. The merest trace of beauty countermands the worst of things and seals for them a spot in paradise, if only cleaning out the pot.
You're both wrong. What does beauty have to do with this double obscenity? The body corrupted and death the great corrupter. Beauty's withdrawn herself so far from this that it is folly to discuss her. As helpful as mapping in that blood the skies above the antipodes as to involve the beauty in the affairs of human sin.
See, this just isn't fair. Plato would never have allowed dialogue like this. The danger of a three-way conversation's too acute. The dialectic loses all its force. The third to speak will always seem to have the final word. How does one knock the third's thickness? If we ignore it, by convention it stands, but by responding, we would launch a new round of dialectic that must wind again its triple orbit, and that takes far too long for any normal patience. Never again shall I speak with two others. From henceforth, I shall always demand either one or three interlocutors. And should I find myself in such a bag as this, I will demand either that one depart or a fourth join us. What am I to do with such an idiot speech as that? Respond? Or change the subject and let you presume, abetted by the laws of discourse, that you have bested us? All I can do is laugh, but that response would be disordered at this time and place. So, against my judgment, I defer to you only by my silence. But do not tempt me more.
If that is your rebuke in silence, spare us your rebuke in speech.
You're muted.
We've wandered far, yet our feet are planted still on cobbles dark with blood. And all around the city runs still in its fever. Above is the sky, which says nothing but sees it all, and within, what is within us three? I can only say that within me there rises guilt like a welt. For I, by the incorrigible arrogance of my house, did expose and boast of a precious thing that ought not be flaunted in the square. And by this I placed into some murderer's very hand the weapon that slew this woman.
Sure, and I was nearest to the crime, very nearly in the midst of it. But I heeded the false cry of doubt, and did not, trust in God to save me, rise to save another.
And I.
And you.
What strange happening is this? Proclaim it, that after all I am the least to blame?
The rabbit who always finds himself a whisker from the springing trap, even if today he isn't caught, will surely end up in the pot.
Throwing my own rhymes back at me, are you? Well, your town birth shows you've no flair for country proverbs.
Of us three, I am the most to blame. And I most suspected you, Francois. So I have wronged you most, and most humbly now beseech your pardon.
It is a privilege to be wronged by such a lordly soul.
All very fine, but the question remains, what shall we do?
We keep returning to that question, and it seems God at last has done with us and is sending our answer gratis. Look.
Lights!
The watchman comes.
And not alone, he's brought fellows. Well, brothers, let's drain this cup. It seems our secret's time is up.
The watch. This seems too strange for chance. Someone must have summoned them.
The devil!
Nay, an angel.
Jean, where are you going?
I must confess.
To what? Did you kill that body?
Not that one, but mine own and others I have sought to kill. And that body there I might have saved, but by my wretchedness. No grace but in atonement, and no atonement without I confess.
Hey, stop. He's gone off. The madman.
I recall another scene like this not long ago where such a similar determination to confess revealed many other truths.
Sure, but that was me. I never meant to confess. Mine's a merry madness, easily contained, but his? There's danger there. Once that brand is lit, there's no telling what all it will burn.
We all keep things close and dark, but Jean, he longs for light. Even if it cost his soul, he would behold it. He's one who, if condemned to hell, would go willingly, provided he'd seen the light. But you, if heaven were flung open to you, you'd skip the gates and scale the back wall as a matter of principle.
I cannot not resent you and your knowing tone. But there it is. Be still. I'm going. Of course, there's much I wish to keep concealed, and the best distraction I can wield for myself is certainly myself. You're right, I'm going, but not to practice stealth, not to deflect, and not because you say, but because there's the center of the play.
Rabelais exits. After Jean, Ignatius is left alone. He stands in a posture of waiting, not hesitating, but also not impatient, and looks not at the place where his friends have exited, but straight ahead.
What a foul night this is. Choices countless wrung from us, and yet each one made for us. Oh, little maid, what was it, I wonder, the choice you could not but choose to make? What the mire that held your feet upon a certain path? What veil shrank your sight, obscured the world, even as it made you choose? Not spite, but from your very blindness. After this night, can I proclaim myself different from you? I, who've long held that to act is the greatest thing. Action was my creed. Let no fate befall, but pull it down upon your head. Where does this leave you, little maid? Are you victim, villain? Was it my careless slip that flung this faith on you? I have sent so many to their graves without a thought, men of action. I hewed down and left. But you, lady, you have defeated me. By your death, most helpless. You have overthrown my life, for here, beside your desk, what can I do? What action can I perform? What exploit interpose for you? I, who've always had something to give, have nothing. I can offer now to stay beside you, quietly, in this time and place, unmoving, present here in mind, body and imagination. I give the best I have, a lack of action, which for me is death, and for you, bring all my force to bear at last on this last thing, being still.
He remains kneeling, silent for at least 30 seconds. Nothing moves at all for that time. Then Rabelais and Jean enter, Rabelais running and dragging a reluctant Jean.
Hey, what are you doing? Get up. This is it. We've really drained the cup this time. Grab that knife. I know it's bloody, but let's go. Let's go.
What is all this? Where's the watch? What's happened?
Exactly what you think. We found them, yes. And this innocent, this babe in arms, this precious soul that's emboweled himself to them. Ha ha! I'll long recall the sight, this good fellow blubbering out his tale before a ragtag peasant lot who fiddled with their sagging balls, deigning not to look at him, reproach him. I cannot say which was more gauche, Jean or the idiots he did approach.
And they're now in pursuit?
Ha, far from it. They drove us away.
How's this?
They did not believe me.
Said he was drunk.
They told me that I stank.
Patted his head.
Sent me home to bed.
Like a child, caught out too late.
It is a shameful fate.
So explain, why now this flight if your confession's gone awry?
Yes, they disbelieved him, true, but not entirely. Even candlelight can tell the streets are hell tonight, and though they laughed at Jean, one or two I saw shook their heads. A few are coming close behind, and they expect mischief, I think, though not at our hands. Our wild efforts to incriminate ourselves for something we'd not done, while also treading careful not to lie, well, that dissonance convinced them first of something rather dreadful here, and second of our innocence.
Tried. I really tried. I sought to own without by falsehood adding to the score the culpability that's rightly mine.
Under the law, you know that's none.
As I've said all along, however, should that same disbelieving crew come around that corner, see there, even now their torches flicker in reflection on the stone, and find not only Jean and I, but bone and blood and the slain girl and more, find too the knife that slew her, and what's more, find kneeling by her corpse the man who's known by many as that knife's proper owner, well, I think that even they would find some more questions to ask and more guilt to offer around.
So, after all, it comes to this. How strange that at the end, it's I who's forced to choose to stand or flee, since wages are without proportion.
Your speeches always move me, but a speech now isn't what we need unless it moves us far from here.
Oh yes, go. For me, I'll stay.
Loyola, the torches, look. Don't be heroic. This is no book. This is no game. For this, you'll hang.
I care not for my death.
Neither would I, except I'll swear you didn't do it, and I care a lot about protecting innocence, since that's always my own last defense.
Prattling, but he's right, Ignatius. Listen to reason. Come away and let matters take their course. Don't thrust a stick into the wheels of justice just to spare your pride.
Well, look at you. You're as convincing now as you were laughable before. How?
Very well, I'll come with you, since that's your plea, though in the end it will only make things worse for me. But the knife stays here. Though it slay me, I'll not touch it.
But
Leave it to me. Our friend won't be undone by his false pride again. When that's it, our time has come. We'll go and leave justice to find its way, however it can. Go, go!
Jean and Ignatius exit, Rabelais close behind. Then, swiftly, he darts back and pockets Ignatius's knife. The torches come right up to the edge of view. The crimson light falls on the body as the three withdraw. Scene 5. A bridge spans the sun. Above the moon, below the moon reflected in the reeking water. All three enter stage right, cross the bridge, then pause, panting.
are we away?
Far, and even more. We've put at least a few fair troops of revelers between ourselves and that grim place. We're away. The shadow's past, my friends. We've mined the load of all our guilt and found no gems, just rock. Leave it behind. A tragedy, a shock, and yet we've all paid our respects as best we could. You wouldn't aspire to arrest and trial for a death you'd heard mentioned in the street, or beg for swift attention whenever you passed a funeral cortege, would you? No, you'd cross yourself, pledge a mass or two if you were deeply touched, murmur a prayer, and go. If blame could clutch and hold us fast for every death, who could bear to live? Not I, plainly not you.
You're right. There's awful little to be done in the face of death. It is a matter for God's justice. But you're also wrong, for this was no natural death. Here is a case for human justice, and that, I fear, we have not in our flight contrived to serve.
Rain, I think Francois is right. After all, we really tried. We offered all we knew and we were sent away. Don't you think, Ignatius, that you, the easy culprit, would have distracted justice from the truth? Perhaps it's better that we left.
At least, should they wish to question me, they have my knife, though I've nothing to tell them that's not written on its blade.
Well, you've both now said I'm right, and I won't ask for more. Come, the fast draws nigh, and we've not yet begun the feast. The night's not young. I almost see the dawn, and in the cockeyed crowds I saw a yawn or two. Come, before the night is done, I wish to raise a cup and toast Manon.
Manon?
Who is Manu?
Did I say Manon? I know no woman of that name.
You said Manon.
You wish to toast Manon, you said.
You dullins misheard me.
Oh, we did not.
We did not.
Manon, my mother's cousin is Manon. Manon of many yawns, we call her.
Stop it.
You knew her, you felon?
My mother's cousin, slightly, but
That girl. You knew her, didn't you?
I knew he could not be so innocent in this.
Say it.
all right, I knew her.
How could I be so taken in?
I never believed him, did I?
Only a little. Let me down, I beg. I met her once in passing. She's a friend of a delicious laundress I know well. Oh, how Aline can starch a ruff, who, in her largesse, sometimes lets me walk beside her. Only thrice the temptress. And on one of these occasions we met this Manon. I knew her when I first stumbled on the body, and I fled. My only thought was to betake myself as far from there as any fellow could, but I met you, and then it occurred to me there'd be no better proof of innocence than to return you two in tow and cast relentless light upon the scene. I swear, now I've told all.
You sought to tangle us in your sordid affair, just as I said.
My only fault was stumbling upon you, the only men in Paris guiltier than I.
Save one, I hope.
Yes, save one.
All three are silent for a moment in a tableau. Rabelais backed up against the railing of the river, Ignatius holding him, Jean a step away, his face a mingling of triumph and horror. At last Ignatius lowers his arm and releases Rabelais, who rubs ruefully at his throat.
So
So,
So what? It is clear that what must be done to end this most disastrous night.
is it?
yes, is it?
It is. You'll think me rigid, no doubt. Unkind, cruel even. They always do, eventually, all those who call me friend. For every friendship hinges on that compromise, that turning away, that slightest batting of an eye, the keeping back of a single word. For if we are all complicit together, who can judge? That is what you say, no doubt. That is what everyone says, but who can judge? Well, someone, and I'll tell you who. I must. And not with relish, but with grief, for every judgment made on earth foretastes the endless one to come. But how can I not, when from this friendless woman's body there comes such a cry demanding justice that would follow me all the days of my life should I ignore it? What shall we do? We shall end this thing without flinching. The crime lies at the door of one among us. He must answer. If he will not, we must make him.
Then do it. You heard me. No one's stopping you. Go fling yourself upon them as before and see just how they answer this new faux confession. What will you say? Oh, I've more. Before I blamed myself, but now I'd like to blame that other fellow, the one who came with me. See, I took a little hike, just as you suggested, and so I had it wrong. Silly error. Anyone might make it. It wasn't me, but him. Forget my tears, the wine upon my breath, and there you'll find the doer of the deed. What could they possibly find here to doubt?
It may be as you say. It likely will. In predicting ways and means of men, you're not often wrong. I think you must, Francois, luxuriate in the obscure spectacle of choice. Spectacle only. In truth, no choice is free. Nothing can be free that is so wrung upon the mangle of desire, twisting till there is only one way we can move. Corruption, rank around us, creeping through our flesh like ants through earth. Our every making, kingdoms, thrones, seas, and statues, all with death swelling in our veins. And this corruption, you obscene, irreverent villain, would parade before my eyes with gaudy ribbons and with music, would have made me laugh and caper with corruption while my very tongue is foul with it. My nostrils stink of it. And yet, despite all that, there is one thing left that we can do. We can hurl ourselves, despite the mocking of the whole created world, upon grace, whatever that may be, and wheresoever we shall find it. And though at last I turn my back on you and flee to follow grace, not in hope, nor faith, but terror, I will go. Whatever I may find, and may what be accounted in my favor. I don't say farewell, nor adieu. I say only that if my quest tonight should fail, and we meet again by chance, I think that all will not go well with you.
Jean departs, leaving Ignatius and Rabelais both a little stunned by his speech.
Who'd have thought it? Him so bookishly correct, nice in every way, and then some, and all the while seething with such venom. Oh, you're muted again.
The bells.
Every bell ever made, I'd say.
The bells of Shrovetide ending. Land, the silent sigh of land comes close behind. Listen, matin bells are ringing, brother. Cold. Will dawn this day in red and dreary light, cast full upon the face of foes hid within the ranks. This is the summons, friend. The bells call us to confession now, before the feast is ended. Me? I count this night as dearly bought revelation, realization. I see pride, flightiness, and fright, driving wild the bright chariots of our souls. Long, long I've slept, long endured anxious dreams trashed in throes of my own dignity. And now, bereft of pride, marked for a rest, I wake, and waking I exult. Sleepers, hark, hear the bells. What the night that brings such light can be called black? Hear the bells. It is my summons. The trumpet sounds, my general calls, the battle's well began. Whatever comes, I know where my first loyalty is owed. To God's church, who bids me now make haste to be well shrived. From there, whatever comes is good. Listen, haste, the fast is at the door.
Ignatius exits in the direction of the nearest bells, wildly but with joy in his face. Rabelais is left alone on stage. One by one, the bells fall silent.
That's it. And after all that, they've both gone and left the final word to me. Withdrawn without a fight. Who taught them rhetoric, these babes? What shall I say, since there's no thread of contradiction? I find the stage is mine, and now it's mine. I find I would decline it. For what good is it to speechify without a worthy someone to defy you? I wonder, could those two have punished me through any crueler means than leaving me alone? But I'll play. Through the hoop I'll jump. A night like this demands a summing up, whether on stage or at the tavern door.
Here, Rabelais removes Ignatius's knife from his pocket and toys with it throughout the speech that follows, tossing it, fingering the bloody blade, tapping the jeweled grip against his chin.
So, what's my scene? The woman dead, a score of night watchmen dismayed, one friend outraged, another friend embroiled, and I, Rabelais, jesting as all sparks fly. Ignatius speaks of battle pitched, and Jean, he hopes I'm killed in it, but I jest on, for jesting's still a noble art, at least as noble as war or reading creased books in dusty halls of learning. Love wisdom, say I, but not with what's above. She's a pretty girl and ripe. Love her with your body, your skin and bones, the gurgle of your gut. Love her with your rutting heart. We're all little pigs rooting in the dirt after something. Slut, priest, the Lord, magister, mother, student, tenant, doctor, bishop, king, pope, saints and sinners, all rooting in the mud. This slick, thick, sandy, smelly muck, made up of sick things, dead things, live things, fat things, fecund too. From muck, mushrooms spring. Hounds and prey flounder together in it. Trees heap up from muck, then willing drop their seeds. From muck comes vines, then grapes, wine, then we overdrink ourselves and send back the muck as spew. From muck comes stem, then leaves, then flower, then fruit, which we devour, and then from our buttock shoots, and we poor things come from it too. That muck to muck, muck we are, to muckiest muck we shall return. But we, unlike the rest of all muck's children, we alone can jest. So come, Lent, bring your fasts, your penance, bring your somber days and long repentance, weigh down our spirits, even into muck. I'll go with you and gladly and be struck a while, for in the muck's the stuff of ourselves. The fair, foul, rough, the smooth, and all the finest jokes, of course, come not from the smoothest parts, but the coarse. The highest heights of heaven are light, the finest hearts on earth are light. If he who sits in heaven laughs at us, what else can we do but laugh gratis? And if he who sits in heaven smiles, what can earth do but put aside her wiles and smile too? The world is ours. The world, the flesh and the devil, and the world, the body, blood, and mind, all ours, all play. The world is ours to save, throw away.
When this speech is over, Rabelais looks at the knife for a moment, then guffles and tosses it carelessly into the river. He exits. Well done, readers! Hi, Jess! Oh my God, this is so good.
Well
Okay,
done, readers.
we should all bow.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, bow, please.
1, 2.
Readers and writer. This is fantastic. And hi, baby. What's your name?
This is Agnes.
Hi, Agnes. Oh my God, I love this name. I'm just reading Agnes's book because she's
Oh.
talking on my podcast.
I need to read that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice.
I feel like
Okay.
Agnes Scharl will be a philosopher just based on the name. I think she sounds.
Yeah, if you're called Agnes, like there's Agnes Heller as well, great Marxist philosopher. It's like mandatory. Like you will.
Predestined. Awesome.
Yep.
Oh my God. Guys, I'm just going to open the floor. What was your impression? I mean, Jess, sadly Brigitte had to leave and Piton because they're just dropped in. But I mean, there are so many thoughts. So, the things that you shared in the chat, what's the first thing that comes to mind, for instance, about who killed this girl?
Well, first off, the casting was impeccable. You all
It
were
really was.
you all were so good with your characters and you were like embodying the reading. It was all like perfect. So good. I don't know who killed the girl. I mean, obviously, like it seemed a mystery. I know that this was what the 1500s, I think. But I can't help it because some of my favorite movies are like the retelling of Shakespeare in modern environments, like Much Ado About Nothing. Joss Whedon did it in like a modern black and white telling. I loved that one. So I kept thinking like even though this was like 1560, I kept thinking like this was like New Orleans, Mardi Gras, and if these guys, well, two girls and a guy, but guys were hanging out in a bar in New Orleans and found, somebody that was partying in Mardi Gras, like dead on a street. That's what I was like envisioning, even though it so like my vision and what was happening. So it was sort of like this weird thing that was going on in my head, but it was so great because I could like see that similarity of happening. But what I loved was how it kept bouncing back and forth, but everybody kind of had responsibility in their own way of doing it or could have done it. And I thought that that was really funny. And just I was never a philosophy major, and so I know a little bit historically about each one of these people, just in bits and pieces. And you could really hear their philosophies coming through in their arguments, in their conversation, and of course how well each one of you acted it out as well too. So I thought that that was really fun and incredible in the conversation that they were having. And so really well done. Incredible, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was beautiful play.
I could totally imagine a direction and interpretation where we would do like Mardi Gras
I
in
love that.
I'm sad that Megan Gafford is not here because she used to live there for a very long time. And as an artist, she's obsessed with that visual world. I can totally see that. I'm so curious because Jane, I know, and we, conversed about a potential like Rabelais series on Interintellect, and I know that the carnival is very important to you. I did have a professor in postgrad who was obsessed with Rabelais.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice.
Like, I mean, I had to take a class for a full semester on Rabelais, which I did not want to
Yeah.
do originally because I didn't really care. But like this guy was just like shoving it down our throats all the time.
Yeah.
And I was so happy because we knew a little bit about it from like art history and literature history, but
Yeah.
learning from somebody who's obsessed with this.
I would love to take that course. Oh my gosh.
It was one of the best. It was great, and it's kind of good about university that you can just be kind of forced to
Yeah.
study something, and then it turns out to be amazing, and you would never have done it willingly. But I'm so curious how this play came to be. What was the inspiration? I know these are like stupid questions and very like fifth, I don't know, like year student questions, but yeah, or fourth grade, fifth grade. But how did we go from Rabelais to Rabelais kind of implicating himself in murder to the two strictest religious moralists that the world ever created? Why? What happened?
Yeah. No, I had this idea. My husband and I went to Paris on our honeymoon, and it was a really long delayed honeymoon. So we'd been married for a while at that point. So he kind of knew I was obsessed with Rabelais at that point. Because that's not something you reveal until you've already gotten them married to you.
Yeah. And then
Definitely
the
don't.
next day, like, honey, we need to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah,
that
you got to keep
potential
that under wraps. And
carnival.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, you get the marriage ceremony out of the way, and then you sit down and you read the Rabelais codpiece section. Like, this is what we're doing now.
For some signs during the wedding. I can't imagine you doing a wedding that wasn't a little bit carnival-esque.
It was a little bit funky, yeah. But so we were in Paris and I learned that Ignatius and John Calvin were both at the same college at the University of Paris, and they overlapped a little bit. And they both studied there at the same time that Erasmus was teaching there. And I just thought that that was like the craziest. Just to think about those minds being in a room together, it really hit me that like these were living people who had they were college students, you know? I mean, they were priests, so it was different than for us, but they were still young men. Ignatius was older. I think he was in his early 30s, but they were young men studying together and the seeds of their careers were sown. I just thought that was so interesting. So I was thinking like maybe I would write a series. I batted around this idea for a long time, and my husband was like, "You can't do this without Rabelais." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, obviously." So I thought maybe I'd write a novel, and then I thought maybe it would be like a series of dramatic monologues because I love writing dramatic monologues. And then my husband was like, that's just called a play." Like, oh, because this is my
Wow,
first play.
but they respond to each other. Oh,
Yeah. So I'd never written a play before, so it didn't even really cross my mind. I was like, oh yeah, this is a play. So originally Erasmus was in it, and he kind of acted as like the detective, but it was just too because he was a master and the other three were students, it was just too didactic. Anything he said, that was it. And I wanted it to feel I wanted it to feel very contemporary in that it was ambiguous. So I wanted it to feel, Aristotelian in its tightness. So it actually it adheres pretty closely to all three of the Aristotelian whatever they're called, the three,
the
unities.
units of time and space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it doesn't have the unity of voice because I wanted it to have that contemporary, I don't know, just openness that contemporary drama has and ancient and classical drama doesn't tend to have as much. So yeah, then I just started whacking away at it and I actually wrote it. I didn't think I'd get it published or anything, but I wrote it for a friend as a present, and the friend was like, "Well, this is nice. You should do something with it."
That's
That
amazing.
was
I
fun.
love this.
So then I just finished the now I'm writing a trilogy of Rabelais plays. So I just finished the second one and it's opening in October in New York. And then at the third one I'm starting now. So should be fun.
That's crazy. I really enjoyed the part. I mean, a lot of funny parts. But it was so interesting how you're talking about how the dialectic is always false because the third always sounds to know what's going on, even though it's just a matter of like coming after the other two has have spoken.
Yeah.
And that was I thought that was hilarious, and I come from a Hegelian tradition, so for me that was like such a nice snark.
Yeah.
But it was actually in religion, like Western plays coming from a religious root that introduced the 4-act structure, for instance, right? And you mentioned that we need a force to make sense, because otherwise it's just yes, no, maybe, or yes, no, both. And that really got me thinking. I really want to do some Chekhov stuff on Interintellect. We did Uncle Vanya once, but to do maybe the seagull or something like that and analyze it, because Chekhov is the one that stands out because it's always 4 acts.
Yeah.
And he took it from Swedenborg and from medieval mystics, right? Because it was the religious plays that were never 3 or 5 acts, but 4.
That's very interesting.
Because and that's why in Chekhov you get this, and it's sad that we no longer perform plays as they should be in 5 acts for Shakespeare and 4 acts for Chekhov, for instance, because we underestimate the endurance of the audience.
Yep.
And which, I mean, they would probably be less likely to buy the ticket, but when they're there, they would enjoy it, but they want to sell the tickets, obviously.
Well, nobody buys the tickets anyway, so they should just do it the way that they should.
Yes. Because the point that when you watch the Cherry Orchard, you watch the Three Sisters, you watch Uncle Vanya, that crazy entrappedness and no way out and suffocation that you get from these plays, and you get it in Vanya on 42nd Street. So the beautiful American production that was also turned into a movie. That it's like 1, 2, 3 is the unity, and then the 4th is again the first.
Yep.
You get the Ouroboros, right? There's no way out. The cycle re-begins. And it was so interesting that you have this, and I'm so curious if it will come back in your later plays, that when there's a 4, there's no way out. You start.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by the ancient rules of rhetoric. It's one of my favorite things to just study because people just, and I don't know it very well because I didn't get to do an actual liberal arts degree. I did kind of it's politics, philosophy, and economics. So it's like I call it liberal arts for dummies because you don't have to learn the languages. You just do it in English. But
some of our best friends did politics, philosophy, and
okay. Well, they can join me in the like, hey, we wish we knew Greek side of the room. But yeah, you get to there's so much there's so much pattern in rhetoric that we don't study anymore, and it still forms the way that we speak, but because we're not aware of it, it's not as people can't use it, it's still there, but we're not using it to any effect. And so yeah, the next play is called The Death of Rabelais, and it has a lot more characters. My goal for it was to make it more stagey so that it would feel like it needed to be on a stage. I wanted to feel more dramatic. It's got special effects and stuff like that. But then the third one it's definitely going to have more of those kinds of like meta elements just for fun.
John, what was your impression reading Jean so beautifully?
Thank you. Thank you, first and foremost. And I will say, this is the first time I've ever felt any kind of sympathy for Jean. So, Jane, I might not ever forgive you for that.
What a win or loss,
You're forever ruined.
I take this. I take this as a great defeat. I feel as though I've been bested. But in part because I think I like in my time, and again, I'm a very, like, Anna, you described me as a theologian. I'm a very hobby theologian. So
I'm a hobby theologian as well. That's why I respect this so much.
Amateurs will save the world.
But anyway, so I've only ever really encountered the ways I've encountered Calvin in the past were always to best him and to show him why he was wrong. And but reading this, the anxiety that he feels about the state of his soul, of his relationship with God, of those with of just the disconnect he feels the between the created world and its creator, which I think is pervasive throughout Calvinist theology, is made so palpable here, and I found that incredibly powerful, and that gave me that entree into finally realizing, okay, yeah, this is a very human response to doubt, and one that I have, maybe not in his way, I've definitely been John in several situations in my life, and very much. I am probably as much fun at a bar as he is.
No, that's not true. But John, what was your reason for not liking Calvin before?
I guess because people, at least the ones I encountered who fashioned themselves as his devotees, were kind of jerk. I will say, I will say, basically, yeah, very, yeah, theological jerks, and so I kind of wanted to best him in that way, and so I never really, yeah, afforded him any sympathy. But I think that will change now. I realize, like, as I'm becoming more mature, I realize you can recognize that maybe you can think someone is wrong and also recognize how human they are, and I very much appreciate that about them. So this is another step in that part of my development.
He's the one who gets the strongest audience response consistently,
Yeah.
because everybody has this idea of Calvinism.
Yeah.
So they come in expecting a certain thing.
Mhm.
And he's the one who, it's interesting because the Calvinists tend to want to emphasize, like, this is just Jane's imaginary Calvin. This isn't really Calvin. But he's actually, I mean, I based him on, like, I did a lot of reading. Obviously he's my, imaginary Calvin. Just a minute, sweetheart. But I did a lot of research on his biography, and there's a lot of psychological resonance between who from as far as I can tell he actually was. And it's interesting how strong of a response he gets. He's also the one where if I have a say in casting, I usually am most particular about him because I want him played with a tenderness, and I don't want someone to just come in and play him as an absolute jerk. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad you had that response. That's good.
Who would be your if there was a major Hollywood production and you could do anything, who would be your three actors of choice for the three characters?
That's such a good question. And people have asked me that before, and I've said I don't know, and I should have been thinking about it. But if it was like really, really big names, I don't, gosh, I mean, I would love to see Ignatius played by like a Chadwick Boseman or something like that. And obviously we won't ever get that. But I'd love to have him played by someone either Black or Asian or something racially distinct from the other two, because he is the one who's most unlike the other two. And I would
They
love
constantly other him, right? Throughout the play.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they dismiss him because you're other.
He's other, yes. So I'd love to see that emphasized, but I would love to see someone play him. I mean, like Chadwick Boseman just has that nobility, and so I'd love to see someone play him in a very like kingly, othered way, if that makes sense. But that's like I don't know who I would want to play Rabelais. What do you guys like? Who's an actor that you're like, yeah, this person should play Rabelais? Taylor, you did a really good job, especially for your first read. You did.
So good.
Yeah. So I need to give two things here. The one, it was a blind read. I had not read the play before.
You did great.
Right.
Two, I had never heard of Rabelais.
Yeah.
I will say I did not realize that these were real philosophy.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
Like I'm a scientist. I'm a STEM person.
That
Like,
makes me really happy because he was the way that I would imagine him, and
which
you
I think was it made the casting like Anna was like, you should play this one. I was like, cool. Like I trust Anna to give me like I come to these Interintellect play readings. I've only ever done them blind. And I just say to Anna, I'm like, who should I be? Put me in, coach. And she always gives me like the perfect part for me.
Great, I love it. You did a really good job. I enjoyed it a lot.
Casting manager.
But yeah, who do you picture playing Rabelais if anybody comes to mind? Because people always ask me that and I don't have a good answer.
Like Patton Oswalt for Rabelais.
A short little
Somebody like that. Yeah, where because he was like that. He was a kind of and I was,
Yeah, but they're young. They're young.
They are young, yeah.
So that's why I said Barry
Barry
Keoghan. I can't pronounce his last name.
Oh yeah, Barry. Yeah.
He was in Saltburn.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Oh yeah, that's true. The Irish guy.
He's looking at me right now from the back of my Harper's. He's on the back of this.
Oh
yeah.
He
would be really good. I'm telling you, Anna, I'm a producer.
That's true. Let's do it.
I need to switch my my career path and just do movie production and TV production.
Also, Andrew Scott could do Rabelais.
Oh,
I think Andrew Scott should do Jean.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, but he's a bit old. He's a bit too old now.
This is what Rabelais looked like.
That's true.
When he was 30?
I think that's when he's in his 40s.
Because wait, how old were they when this was happening?
They're in their 20s. And Ignatius
20s.
is a little older.
Ignatius is a bit older.
Yeah.
Ignatius,
sorry, but Antonio Banderas, por favor.
he's too old.
But he's beautiful to look at.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Anna Maria, where are you? That ceiling is so beautiful. Is that your home?
It is, isn't it? It's not my home. I used to live here. This is actually now for rent. But it's amazing.
Oh,
I'm in Spain, south of Spain.
it's really pretty.
In Mardi Gras. And look at this.
That's why I was so happy that
I'm right in the park.
Yeah. That's gorgeous.
Wow. Okay, so I could cast this. The problem is I don't know the young actors, so I would cast it with old people.
Me too.
When I still had time to watch movies or something. Guys, this was such a pleasure. I'm so happy we did it. Jane, congratulations. This is something special. And if there ever is something in New York happening, or if you are interested in doing like an offline reading, we recently did one with Matthew Gustav for his new play. I would love to do with like a proper table and chairs and knife.
That'd be awesome. And I will be out there in October.
Did you guys like my
the knife was great. It's like the red was there.
I picked the black pen and then I was like, no.
Red. Absolutely. So you were saying, Jane, that in October here?
I'll be in New York in October because the Death of Rabelais will be opening. So if any of you are in New York and want to come, just let me know and we should like all go together and then go out for dinner or something. It'd be really fun.
Okay. What date is it?
I don't have a date yet. I have a director and I have a one funder. If you know anybody else who wants to help fund it, let me know. But one funder, and then we're picking a date. We should have a date by the end of May, so I'll let you know.
Apply for an EV grant. I don't know how much money you need.
What?
Like I can send you there are 2 grants that my friends are running and you could apply and it's pretty fast.
Oh, perfect. That would be great. Yeah, I've got the last time when we did this one in New York, when we did Sunday in New York, we broke even, so we were able to pay back our funders, which was great.
Yeah.
So that would be great if we could get a grant.
Just send it to you now.
Thank you. That'd be awesome.
Send me as well if maybe I'll try to find a sponsor.
Oh, sweet.
There's a lot of money going around.
Producer.
I have an Ignatius of Loyola too. Regé Jean Page.
And let me Google it.
He's
Ooh, I
from
like that. That's
Bridgerton.
a good idea.
From Bridgerton, because he's royalty. You said royalty.
Yep. Yep.
So I just need to cast John.
Yeah. I like Andrew Scott for Jean. He's a little older, but if you
He's
just
a
did
little
his hair
older,
dye,
but
I
we
think
could
you could
young
do
him
it.
up, maybe.
Yeah.
He would make
I
a
want to
good.
put Andrew Scott in everything. That's my
I want to put
problem.
Andrew
Like, I
Scott in
don't
everything
care.
too.
Three sisters, all played by Andrew Scott. No
Yes.
problem. No problem. The color purple, Andrew Scott. It's very weird.
He's so
Oh my
good.
Don't, that's it's good I don't have money for producing all the plays I want because it would get weird.
It's funny.
All right. My
Well,
friend,
guys, thank you.
thank you for coming and thank you for spending part of your Saturday here with us. This was absolutely fantastic. And Jane, I will see you in New York, right?
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
Yay, New
We'll be
York.
there.
All right.
I'll bring the whole. I'll bring the whole crew. Okay.
Amazing. That sounds great.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Thank you so
everyone.
Thank you
much.
all.
Congratulations and
Bye. Thanks.
leaders as well.
Hi, all.
Bye.